If you are thinking about marketing your painting company, then you've probably heard about Google Local Service Ads. And Google Local Service Ads are a phenomenal type of advertising. And if you haven't heard of it yet and you want to see what that looks like, then go into your search bar and type in painting companies near me. And there's going to be a little top section there right up top where there's probably a couple of local competitors that maybe you've seen before. There's a little button that says message, and there's also a little button that says call. Straight to the point, right on top of Google. And you may also see a little section that says Google guaranteed or some type of green check mark there. Now that is Google Local Service Ads, and they are one of the best type of advertising on Google for your painting company. And in this video, I'm going to go into the pros and the cons of running Google Local Service Ads for your painting business. This is just one of the type of advertisements that we run for a lot of our clients, and it's great, but there are actually some drawbacks. And today, I'm going to get into all of that in this video. So starting off at the pros, the big one that everybody loves about Google Local Service Ads is that you only pay per qualified lead. Now there's a lot of other types of advertising out there like Angie's List or other things where you pay per lead regardless of what happens. But on Google Local Service Ads, you only pay for a qualified lead. So what exactly does that mean? So when you're running ads on Google Local Service, you're going to put yourself into a category, which is going to be the painting category, maybe a couple other things depending on what you are licensed for and what else you offer. Maybe if you also offer flooring or roofing or some general contracting or something like that, then you would be in a couple different categories. But let's say, for example, you only offer painting services, then you're going to be in that category. And you can also pick the different things within that category that you offer, like interior, exterior, cabinets, and so on. Now, a qualified lead is a legitimate person that calls or messages in one of those categories. So if I call you and I say, hey, can I have a job? Are you guys hiring? That's not a qualified lead. Even though they clicked on that ad and called through, you don't pay for that. That doesn't happen. Now, let's say, for example, I call you and I say, hey, I see that you're a painting company, but do you guys also offer roofing services? I need my roof replaced. That also is not a qualified lead. Now, let's say I call you again and I say, hey, I'm thinking about getting my kitchen cabinets painted. I see you guys do that. Can you tell me a little bit about your process? And then I say, okay, well, doesn't sound like that's a good fit for me right now, but thank you. That is still a qualified lead. That is a legit person asking about legit services. But basically, if it's a spam call or if they're asking for something totally outside of left field or just, asking for a job or something like that, you're not going to be paying for any of those type of leads. So that is awesome because you only pay per qualified lead that comes in, which is great. Now, the next big pro of running Google Local Service Ads is that you show up at the very top of Google. When somebody types in painting companies near me or best painting contractor near me or something like that, there's going to be a section that pops up and you will be in that section of painting companies near me. And that's going to go right at the top above any of the pay-per-click ads, above any of the Google Maps stuff, or any of the websites that are there. Right up at the top, Google Local Service is there. And everybody knows that if you are right at the top there, you're probably going to get the call. When was the last time you went to the second or third page of Google to look for something? Probably once in your life, maybe never. 90% of people are going to call one of the first couple people on that list, and they're not going to scroll down to the bottom to look for somebody else. And Google Local Service puts you right at the top there. And the third big pro of running Google Local Service Ads is that the lead quality is usually pretty good. Anytime you get a call from Google, the lead quality is usually pretty good. It's somebody who wants a service done. They know what they want. They're basically asking for an estimate. As long as you don't completely screw up that phone call, then it's pretty easy to book them into an estimate. They called you for a reason. They know what they want. As long as you have good customer service and you can book them in, you'll get 80% of those to be booked into estimates. Now, as great as Google Local Service Ads is, there are a few cons. Starting off at number one, you have to be extra diligent about picking up the phone and having good lead management. If you let calls go to voicemail, messages bounce, or people not get responded to, then Google is going to negatively impact your account and you won't get any more leads. Google wants to give leads to businesses who pick up the phone and have good customer service. So if you don't answer those calls when they come in, they're going to throw you all the way at the bottom of the list, and it's going to be really hard to get calls after that. But on the flip side, the better you are at managing those leads, the more you do it, the more that Google's going to start giving you calls. So over time, if you get better, your leads will get better, your leads will improve, and you will stay at the top of that list. Google will either reward you for having good customer service, or they will punish you for not having it. Now, the second con of running Google local service ads is that it's really hard to scale them. Think of Google local service as a tool in your tool belt and not the whole marketing strategy. This is a great type of marketing to add on to your Facebook or SEO or any other type of marketing that you're doing, but it shouldn't be your whole strategy because it's challenging to scale. It really depends on a lot of your competitors, what your SEO is, how many reviews you have, and there's a lot of other factors than just having the ads on or not having them on. Realistically, on average, you can probably expect anywhere between 5 and 15 calls a month. So it's not going to be a crazy huge source of leads. You're going to get phone calls, you're going to get people coming in, and they'll be pretty decent quality, but it's not like the phone's going to be ringing off the hook. And at a certain level, you can really only do so much to scale. And at a certain point, there's really only so much that you can do to scale, and you're kind of just waiting for the phone to ring sometimes. There's basically 2 ways to grow, improve, or get more calls on Google. There's basically only a couple of options that you have here in terms of improving your Google local service ads, and one of them is to go wide. The more areas that you cover, the more service area that you have, the more calls that you will get, because that's more at-bats that your ads have to compete against your competitors and get that phone call. And another option that you have is to go deep. So what I mean by that is by offering more services, more things in your local market, because you will show up more often when people search for you. So you'll get more calls if you go far and wide or deep, or maybe both. And another little side tangent here, if you have good SEO on Google, you have a lot of reviews, your website looks good, your profile looks good, then you will automatically get more calls just because people, when they're looking at you directly next to your competitors, will choose to call you over them. If you have 2 reviews and your competitor has 200 and your ads show up right next to each other, it's going to be really hard for most people to choose the person with 2 reviews over the guy with 200. So it is a good idea to do some searching yourself, right in the search bar, painting companies near me, and look at your competitors. What are their reviews looking like and how do you compare to them? Because these are the exact same questions that your own customers will be asking when they make this decision. So if you do look better than them, you have more reviews than them, and you are automatically ranking higher up on that list, then your Google ads will probably perform a lot better just because of that as well. So your SEO plays a factor there too. Now, the last big con of running Google local service ads is you lack a lot of control. It's not like Facebook ads where you can literally just buy more eyeballs. You can force your ads in front of people and say, hey, I'm here, look at my business, fill out my funnel, fill out my form, and become my lead. At a certain level, you're just waiting for people to reach out. You can't put your ads in front of them like you can with something like Facebook. So that's why it's a great tool in your marketing campaign, but it shouldn't be your overall strategy. Overall, I think that Google local service should be a part of every painting company's marketing strategy in 2026 and beyond. It is a great, good source of quality leads, and I have very little complaints about it. So if you're not running Google local service ads for your painting company, I would recommend checking it out. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how this strategy fits into our overall strategy for a lot of our clients, then click on the link below and you can learn a little bit more about how we do that at Taurify and what we do for our clients. And I hope this video has helped you guys out today. I hope it provided you a lot of value, and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. See you in the next one.